Students, in this chapter, our struggle for freedom, we learn about Jallianwala massacre, we learn about Swadeshi movement, we learn about Gandhiji, how the National Congress was formed and what happened in the Jallianwala massacre and what is the non-cooperation movement. So today at the end, now students, we are learning about non-cooperation movement. We already learn about non-cooperation movement, that the movement is started by Gandhiji to protest against British rule, and they went outside and asked people to support them, and people from all over the country, they were supporting them in this movement. But after 2 years, the movement turned into violence movement. Earlier it was non-violence and peaceful movement, but it's turned into non-violence movement, and the group of people of the movement burned the police station, and near about 22 police officers lost their life in that incident. From that day, Gandhiji called off this movement and he refused to join this movement. And later, many leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru joined this movement. And many people leave their work and for their studies and their home to join that movement. That we already learned. So now, open your textbook and read I link section on page number 23. So in I link section, first we will read English 1 and later we will read Maths 1. English 1. If you were a British merchant selling British goods in India, how would the Swadeshi movement have affected you? Write a paragraph on it. What you have to do, you have to think that you are a British merchant. Merchant means you are doing business in the India, but you are from British. So you have to think about that, how Swadeshi movement affect you. In the Swadeshi movement, Indians refuse to use all British things and they burn all British manufactured things in the huge fire. So how this thing will affect you? You have to write a paragraph on it. Now come to Maths 1. In which year did the non-cooperation movement start? Rearrange the digits from the greatest and smallest 4-digit number. You have to find out in which year the non-cooperation movement was started. And you have to arrange that year into numerical order from greater to smaller and to smaller to greater to find greater and greatest and the smallest 4-digit number. You have to rearrange this number to find the greatest and the smallest 4-digit number. So this activity you have to do at home. Now come to I discover section on page number 22. Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. Who gave this famous slogan? What does it mean? Who has given this famous slogan that Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it? The slogan Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it, it was given by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. And why the slogan was given? To inspire lakhs to participate in the Indian freedom movement. He was one of the first and the strongest advocate of Swaraj. Swaraj means self-rule, which became the guiding principle of the Indian freedom movement. He has given this slogan to get Swaraj, means he wants to say that self-rule is my birthright and it's my right, so I can use it, I shall have it. Now read I extend session on page number 23. Describe non-violence as a means of protest. Is it more effective than the violent means of protest? What do you think? According to me, non-violence is a good means of protest. Why? Because in this means people can protest and they are not harming anyone. In the non-violence, the people who have not done anything, they are also suffering. So, non-violence means of protest is a good mean of protest, because in that means people can show their angriness, show their opposition, but in a peaceful manner, and no one get hurt in that manner. That is why Gandhiji also following the non-violence protest. As we learn that he has started Satyagraha for that. In Satyagraha, he was sitting without eating anything. And now also, few years back, Anna Hazare started Satyagraha again. And we have seen that no one was hurting anyone. They were simply sitting, not eating and not drinking for this, but they were not hurting anyone. So this is the best way to protest. Now read I Observe session. If you were a part of Indian national movement, would you have been a moderate or an extremes? Give reason. What if you part of a national congress, what you want to be? Moderate or extreme? You have to write your answer with your reason why you want to be like that. And now come to I Learn for Life session. Gandhiji protested the principle of truth and non-violence. What do you understand by this term? Gandhiji has given the principle of truth and non-violence. What is the meaning of truth and non-violence? Every time we have to say truth, whether it is good for us, whether it is in our favor or it is in our against. But if we say truth once, we never have to think about anything. We can live freely and move freely. And non-violence. Non-violence is a good weapon to protest. Why so? Because this is not hurting anyone's emotions, and by physical also it's not hurtable. So it is a good to speak truth and go with non-violence protest. Now student, here we are completing our chapter. In this chapter we learn that how Gandhiji came from South Africa. In South Africa he was also suffering from class division problem, and when he came back he saw that British were trying to divide India into two parts with the divide and rule policy. They have divided India into two parts. One part is for Hindu and one part was for Muslims. But the Bengal refused to divide themselves. The people are having strong feeling of nationalism. But later they divided Bengal also into two parts, and people refused that, and they have to take their decision back. We also learn about Swadeshi movement, how angry people, because of the partition, angry people refused to use British things, and they burn all British things in a huge bonfire. After that we have learned about Jallianwala massacre, how General Dyer shooted many people without any reason, and many children, many women and men were died because of this Jallianwala massacre. We have also learned to protest against that. People started strikes and hartals, and Gandhiji has started non-cooperation movement, and many people joined them in the non-cooperation movement. And later the movement took a violent turn. That is why Gandhiji called off that movement. So this was our freedom struggle for independence.